So the topic of this lesson is what is tokenization. The objective of this lesson is by end of this lesson you should be able to state what is tokenization and what are the different kind of blockchain tokens. You are expected to have a basic understanding of blockchain and the major areas of use cases which are covered in previous lessons. So let's see once again, let's recap what are the different kind of tokenization use case categories. We talked about cryptocurrency, utility token, security token, CBDC, stablecoin, NFT. All of these are different areas or different kind of tokens. Okay, but let's understand what is a tokenization. First, before understanding tokenization, let's understand what is token. Token is a digital representation of an asset. Then what is asset? Asset is something which has value. For example, your money, your equity stocks, derivatives, your arts, paintings, your real estate, even your invoices, receipts, loyalty programs, metals, any kind of thing, all these are assets. So asset has certain value, and if we represent that by digitally, that becomes a token. The tokenization is the process of how we create tokens, how we issue tokens, how we distribute it, how do we retrieve it, how do we manage the whole thing. The issuance and management of tokens is called tokenization. And tokenization actually helps in many ways. First, it actually helps in digitization of your assets. So any kind of asset you can digitize and record so that it becomes more efficient to deal with that. Second, it brings liquidity. What it means, I'll take an example here. Suppose you have a big commercial property and you want to sell it. So only big buyers can buy that, who can afford that kind of money. If I break that commercial property in small properties, then in that case, I would be able to reach more buyers who cannot afford the big property, but they can afford smaller properties. What it means that I would be able to sell it faster because now there are more investors who can buy that, who can afford that. It means the liquidity is increased. So tokenization helps in increased asset liquidity. And also it creates the overall, because as I mentioned, tokenization is nothing but issuance and the management of tokens. So it creates infrastructure to all the participants through which the management is easy, there is a transparency. So that's tokenization. Let's understand what are the challenges in traditional tokenization process. So because here we are talking about having a tokenization based on blockchain. We'll learn how blockchain helps in tokenization process, but traditionally what happens? What are the challenges we face? First of all, say we will take example here like your equity stocks. Whenever a company creates an IPO, comes out with an IPO, initial public offer, they want to sell shares of their company. That process of issuance of those shares are nothing but tokens. So creating those tokens is a very complicated task. It's very time consuming task. It's very inefficient in terms of it takes a lot of time as well as it takes a lot of operational cost. So many times the cost of one IPO goes into 6%, 7%. And there are so many different stakeholders are involved in that process. Many merchant bankers, banks, and lawyers and all of those. So there's a dependency on so many different players, and that is why it becomes more expensive and it takes more time. And over and above, there's a problem of data reconciliation because when the tokens are like shares, it takes time to reconcile. Suppose I want to sell my shares to you. Depending upon the exchange, some of the exchanges it's T plus 2. What it means, the settlement of shares happen in 2 days, 1 day, 2 days. It's not real time. So it means there's a lot of work goes behind that in the back end, and it also creates problems. Reconciliation issues are there. Settlement takes longer time, and the whole process still it's not transparent. It's not fully reliable. We don't know what's really happening. In terms of governance, we don't know how it is being governed. We are dependent on central party. So there are various challenges in traditional tokenization process. How blockchain helps in that? What blockchain can do in terms of tokenization? We can use smart contracts. We can define rules and conditions over there which can bring efficiency, automation, especially any kind of regulatory compliances. So we can define rules over there related to regulatory compliances. It can help, it helps in faster and efficient way of compliance management. Because transactions, whatever happens because of the architecture of blockchain, it provides transparency because it's a distributed network. All computers are connected with each other and they are able to see the data, and data is actually secure, it's permanent in nature. So because of transparency, immunity, immutability, in the governance is more secure, it's more safe, it's more transparent. And ownership transfer of one share to another party, or from one party to another party. So that information is available. You can see who has transferred to whom, and that transparency in such a way that it brings automation. The data can be seen real time. Transfer also happens real time. So, and it does not really require intermediaries. We can reduce dependency if we have tokenization based on blockchain. We can actually manage through the network and the smart contracts and reduce dependency on third party. So it's faster. So it costs less. Like IPO, it costs 6-7%. Here, the cost of tokenization and transfer is very, very less, which could be maybe much less than 1%, and even it can be in 0.1%. And because of decentralized network, overall, the network we have high trust. So what are the different kind of blockchain tokens? In fact, I already talked about in some of the lessons. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a mean of payment. You can use cryptocurrency based on blockchain for payments, which could be interbanking payment, cross-border payment, or buying services and goods. Utility token is something which gives access to certain kind of services provided by the token issuer. So token issuer will say that you can use this particular token in this particular stores or to buy such kind of services like your loyalty points. Security token. Security token are similar to your securities, as I took the example of IPO or shares. So shares are nothing but your security. So token based on security is actually anything related to similar to securities. So and those are based on, they follow security laws. So security token are for such kind of use cases like equity shares and loans and all that. NFT is non-fungible token which you can convert. It is a digital asset. It's a unique identity, a unique number to of any one asset, and you can actually convert your physical assets into digital assets and have a unique number or unique NFT. Stable coin, as I mentioned earlier, stable coin is a coin where price of the token is not fluctuating, it's stable, it's constant. So those kind of tokens can be used for various functions in financial system. So we can use perform various financial functions using stable token, which helps in bringing efficiency, and that's a real use case of decentralized finance. As such, all of these tokens participate in decentralized finance, which I'll talk about in the later sessions. CBDC, as I covered briefly earlier, CBDC is central bank digital currency, the digital currency which is issued by the central bank of a country. And it's basically nothing but the replacement of your fiat currency like dollars and euro. So let me recap. What is tokenization and the different type of blockchain tokens? So tokenization is nothing but the issuance and management of tokens. And token is the digital representation of an asset which has certain value, like your equity shares or property. And there are different kind of blockchain tokens. I talked about cryptocurrency, I talked about utility token, I talked about CBDC, I talked about NFT, I talked about stable coin. So the various kind of tokens which are there, and that is what we learned in these lessons. Thank you.